welcome to today's broadcast. Welcome to the introduction to the Touch Pro Express program for faith-based and religious organizations. My name is Earl Mann, and I'm excited to be here. I hope that you're having a great day today, and I hope that you are here at the right channel, so right place, right time. For those of you that are new to this type of presentation, this is an interactive experience. You can actually communicate with me, the host, simply by chatting in the box below. We do not collect your information. We do not put you on list or any type of thing like that. This is purely informational. This presentation is designed for you to get a better understanding of some of the changes that are happening in the marketplace, specifically mobile, and the impact it's going to have on organizations such as yourselves, and what our solution, phone apps, customized phone apps for churches and faith-based organizations, specifically how that might be a tool that you may want to consider. So I'd like to say welcome everybody to today's broadcast. We're going to get started here in about a minute. We are, if you'd like to let me know, I see people are tuning in, if you'd like to let me know what part of the country or the world or you're tuning in from, or if you are one of the many people that have been invited to take a look at this by somebody that knows what's going on, if you let me know who invited you, I can let them know that you made it to the event. So we can all play team. Welcome to the broadcast. Hey, all right, we have Maryland on, we have Montreal on. So we do have an international broadcast today. Okay, guys, we're going to be getting started here in about 1 minute or so. We always encourage people to prepare themselves to take some notes as we go along. The things we talk about are very simple and easy to understand, but quite often, because we tie some things together in a way that you just might not have time to think about on a daily basis, it might be a great opportunity for you to experience a personal insight, and we don't want you to miss that or trust that to memory. So I'd like to welcome everybody to today's call. I'm going to give you about a minute or so to grab a pencil and paper, prepare yourself, and we're going to get started here in just a second. There we go. All right, let's see. Okay, we're going to ease into this, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to ease into this presentation as people continue to log in. First, just a very short history on our company. So we like to consider our mission as a company as that of which we're on a mission to help small businesses refresh their communications efforts. Another way we describe this is we're on a mission to help businesses transition into the digital age of the 21st century in terms of communication and marketing. The internet, and specifically now mobile technology, has completely changed the way that everyday citizens communicate. And because of that, if businesses and or organizations or even individuals wish to effectively communicate with people, then they're going to have to realign their methods of communication to be in alignment with these global changes that are happening around the world. So the short history that we've all lived through probably is over the last 10, 15, almost 20 years now, we saw the massive shift from being offline to being online. Started off slow with small businesses, and it rapidly started to be adopted, and then seemingly overnight every business realized that they needed to have a website, one, to take advantages of the unique things that can only happen on the web, two, because everybody was going to the web looking for products and services, and three, from a credibility standpoint, businesses quickly realized that if they did not have a web presence, then they were viewed as being outdated or irrelevant or illegitimate. So there was a big push for businesses to go from being offline to online, and when that happened, that shift to online, there are billions of dollars spent by businesses trying to catch up. So now we find ourselves in a very similar situation where those same businesses and people and more, because the clock never stops and businesses continue to grow and grow and grow, But we now find the same type of shift happening as businesses that are online are now realizing they need to be mobile, mobile-enabled, mobile-friendly. And this is being driven by a couple of major drivers. And this is the last point I'm going to get through before we specifically talk about our solution. But these are the things you need to understand that will affect your ability to communicate and grow effectively as an organization. These are things that you are a part of. Some parts of it you think about and are fully aware of, and some parts of it they're so much a part of who you are now and how you are, how you live your life, you don't even think about it anymore. But because we've shifted the way we communicate as individuals, the primary way, the place now we go for information is we go to people we know, and we go online, basically a search engine. And here's the kicker. Here's the really unique insight if you're thinking about this. Even when people now go to people they know, so they're looking for something, they need help, they're looking for guidance, and they reach out to somebody and say, who do you know? The thing they use to reach out to people is usually that same digital device. The same one, by the way, that they use to go online and look for things. And that digital device is now mobile. Mobile technology, when you look at phones and tablets, are now the #1 access point to the internet. That's the most common way that people now access the internet. And people go to people they know, or they go to the internet first or second in their efforts to basically accomplish anything. So if you're not in that game, if you're not in the mobile game, you're going to be left out. And today's presentation is to help you understand how we use mobile apps to bridge that deficit for you, to enable you to effectively not only be ready for that shift to mobile, but to take full advantage of that shift to mobile. The other two drivers, just to show you how powerful this change is and why you must really take time to consider it, is that the search engines themselves, the finding mechanism behind the internet. When you type in something you're looking for, whether you're using Yahoo or Bing or Google or some other flavor, they're all letting the people know, the world know, not just businesses, but the world know that if your website is not optimized for the mobile experience, they're not going to index you with their search engines. They're giving a big priority to the content on the internet that is ready to be viewed or consumed via a mobile device. When you think about it, it does make total sense. If you go to a web search engine, Bing or Yahoo or whoever you use, and you type in something you're looking for, and the #1 way that people access the internet is now on the phone, which means that you did that on the phone, what comes back you should be able to easily use on the phone, on the same device that you started your search. So it all makes sense, but the net result is there's a massive shift to mobile. And what we're going to talk about today is what we have in terms of a solution to help specifically organizations like yourself not only be prepared, but actually take advantage of that shift. The last piece of our short history with our company is we spent over the last decade, helping small businesses, organizations, and professionals better market themselves online. So we were active and in the marketplace dealing with professionals as they went from the shift from being offline to online. And then we provided them with the tools and the know-how and the support and the guidance to effectively communicate in this brand new world of internet. Well, now we take all of that know-how and all of that experience and we're moving it forward to help people better understand the current shift we're in, which is the shift to mobile. So our flagship product is a customized mobile apps. We've been building mobile apps now for over a year. We've been doing a very good job of that. We have hundreds of customers. In fact, in your convenience, if you just type our company name in your app store, ComF5, you're going to get a great example of apps just from all over the industry. But what we decided to do in the last couple of months, and this is brand new, which is why we're having this presentation for you, is now that we've collected all of this historical information and we have all of these one-on-one interactions with the businesses in different industries, different market verticals, with different motivations and different strategies, we're realizing that we can, to a very high degree, know what certain industries, what participants in certain industries either want to use or should be using to be effective. And what we decided to do as a company is to go ahead and pay it forward, go ahead and to pre-build a good part of that infrastructure for those industries and extend it to these industries, to these select industries, at a tremendous price discount. That's what we have with the Touch4 Express program. So the reason why you've been invited to look at this broadcast is because your industry is one of the select few industries that fit our qualifications. So what's going to happen with Touch4 Express is that we have a very customized and optimized app building process for these identified industries to streamline the process, to be very fast, fluid, and we've pulled out a lot of the normal costs associated with product development, and we pass that savings on to you. And then what we do is we pre-build and pre-launch inside of your mobile apps some features that are specifically geared towards being used in your industry. So I'm going to walk you through some examples of what we mean by that. So we're not going to go through all of the features today because we have a few dozen features, but I'm going to just give you an example. I want you to understand the difference between buying just a generic mobile app out there and buying a specific app for your industry through our Touch4 Express program. For example, we understand by dealing with many churches and faith-based organizations and ministries that a church can be defined in many ways. It's often to your benefit to build out these multiple definitions of who you are. You may have a big generic explanation of who you are as a church body, as an organization, but you also may have a very strong and clear mission and definition of who you are with your youth ministry, or your new marriage ministry, or you can go down the line, substance abuse. I mean, there are different elements of challenges or content that you may focus on as an organization that's really well organized, and you can clearly define and articulate who you are from that perspective. So we understand going into it that as a faith-based organization, the typical one section that explains who you are is going to probably be inadequate. So we right off the bat are equipped to do up to 5 for you. So 5 different ways that you can describe yourself in detail, so people help at the very beginning of their engagement understand who you are and how you might be able to serve them. And that's just one feature. So we also have a prayer request feature, and this is where we built a very slick, a very cool, a very user-friendly audio recording messaging capability into our system. And in your industry, we find that it's often a very powerful way for people to leave prayer requests. You know, there's something magical and intimate, moving, and emotional about the power of the human voice. And just to leave a prayer request, and for people to hear that prayer request, and to hear that non-verbal message within the message as they make the request to the rest of their family, their church family, is a very powerful idea. Another example. We have, everybody now it's probably members of or know people that are members on these social communities like Facebook, and we understand just the practical value of a social wall experience. We've built the same type of experience inside of your app. A place where people can kind of collectively leave messages, and these messages are shared with the community. The difference, though, and we think the value in doing this in your app would be the nature of the conversations with you as a church organization may be a little bit different than the general conversations going out there on just the open, random, public Facebook page. So you may not want your prayer request or your intimate sharing, if you will, of you or one of your members. You may not want that on your Facebook wall, right between the college bash and right behind, some other off-colored comedy cartoon. It may not make sense in that environment. So what we found, and in many cases, in many features, when you have a unique app specific to your organization, that what you do is you create a uniform intention. And what we mean by that is that people come to your mobile app and they understand the context of the conversation. They understand the listeners and the people that are participating in this app. And that's what determines what's appropriate in terms of their messaging. And we think you're going to have quite a different experience on the wall inside of your app as you would on the wall on your Facebook page. One of the most popular features, and this is across all industries, is the ability to have direct messaging. And direct messaging means that you as the church or the organization or the pastor that has this app, and you have people that have downloaded your free app, and they have this line of communication with you. But it literally is a line of communication, because very simply with the touch of a button, you can send out a real-time message to every single owner of your app. This does not go out as a text message. It does not go out through the complicated matrix of email, where you have to deal with ISPs and filters and spam and an overcrowded inbox. This is a direct communication path between the app owner and the app user. And the app user does not have to be in your app at the time you send the message to get a real-time alert. It's a very, very unique feature, very popular, and powerful way for you to very easily reach out and touch the body of your people wherever they are and whatever they're doing throughout the course of the day. One thing about mobile apps, remember, is that by nature, mobile apps extend your borders, or a better way to describe that would be they eliminate your borders. There are no borders with this technology. So you may have, the majority of your people may download your app, maybe right there local to you in your community, your neighborhood, your zip code, but you could have a large number of people in multiple states or even different countries that heard about you through people that they know. We know that's the world we live in, or they're connected with, and they want to get a better understanding of some of the things you're doing or talking about or working on, and they can plug in you as easily from the other side of the world as people plug in you from right down the street. So that's one very powerful application of a mobile technology. We have an integrated Bible, which is just very, very practical. I mean, not only can you quickly move through the content of the Bible, it's digital and functional, so you can take notes, you can highlight things, you can bookmark things. It's very functional. You can read. Obviously, you can read it, but you can also listen to it. So we have lots of people that understand the value of filling up some of the normal, non-productive time in their lives, like rush hour, sitting on the train, sitting in the park, that type of thing. Now they can, if they choose to, or you encourage them to, they have a direct line of access where they can passively have this content delivered to them, and they can do it at their own pace. And we're excited about this Bible integration. It's been very popular. To go along with that, we also have an integrated notes feature. We understand the value of taking an academic approach to learning, right? And it is often very powerful to increase people's learning by increasing their participation in the learning process. It's one thing to hear something, it's another thing to hear and take notes on it, right? So the results of learning go up just by that act alone. And again, I'm sure that your organization, as many others have probably already been successful at bridging the connection between the practical usefulness of an academic approach to faith. And people probably take notes, and people bring notebooks and their pens and papers. Again, though, the difference is you have the uniqueness and the convenience of the notes always being with them, not only through the duration of your sermon or your engagement, but literally always with them. Studies show that most people have their mobile phones with them 24 hours a day, within 6 feet of them all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So this is very interesting when you encourage people to reflect and journal and come back and review. You eliminate that excuse of convenience not being there. Convenience is everywhere now. And again, that uniqueness of that homogenized conversation, right? So, it might be of value for people to have the notes from your sessions or your ministries or your engagements in the app of your ministry, as opposed to in their paper notebook right behind the reminder to get milk and just a doodle drawing that they did when their mind started to wander. So again, what we're trying to do is just show you how useful and practical it is for you to have all of these very powerful features in a single place that's designed to be a unified central conversation, a group conversation between you and your congregation. So we all understand the power of pictures and how popular they've become even more popular as they've become in the last couple of years with companies like Pictogram, Instagram, and these different photos. Even Facebook, even the social networks now are becoming very largely photo-driven. But again, it may make sense for some of the photos related to the activities you do, like baby christening, marriages, solemn ceremonies, that type of thing. They may or may not make sense on a public Facebook wall, just a generic posting on a wall. And it may just change the meaning or the perception. It just feels different, you know. And it might make sense for you to have a place, a gallery inside of your app where, again, all the imagery pushed in that gallery are contextually relevant to the broader conversation that's taking place in and around your app, which is that of faith. We also understand that even with small organizations, you usually have many, many events that are taking place constantly and changing throughout the course of the week. And quite often it's a challenge just for people to know when and where to be and with who and what to bring. So we made it very easy for you to organize events in this app. We have an event section, and again, we anticipate you having multiple events as a faith-based organization, so we're teed up for that to go. And just like we allow you to have multiple identifications as who you are, multiple About Us sections in the broad sense of your app, we also understand that as you get into specific focuses, you may really want to flesh out these different, unique missions that you encompass as an organization, so ministries. So we anticipate you having multiple ministries where you really want to get into some of the detail of these ministries and what they do and when and why and where and how and for who. So we know that, we anticipate that, and we're prepared, and we already have the infrastructure built for you to have up to 5 different ministries in detail in your app. We make it very easy for your membership to contact you, whether pushing a button to call you, pushing a button to email your identified person, or connecting with your social media outlets. We've integrated with a lot of the real-time publishing capabilities out there, like blogging. If you have a newsletter or a blog, we can integrate all of this into your app. Again, one place that people need to go to experience your conversation as an organization. You know, all organizations, regardless of who they are, what their mission is, they sit on a foundation of economics, and we get that. So we understand how critical it is for you to have an easy path for people to contribute or donate to your cause. And quite often, you've probably realized or experienced that quite often, the simpler you can make the act of giving, the higher the contribution, right? So quite often, many people may be inspired or moved in the moment, and then they make a note or they intend to do something about that financially, and then life steps in, and the next thing you know, weeks go by, months go by. So one good thing about the app being with them all the time and present, all of your conversation and content happening in the same device, is if there's a moment or even an explicit call to action by the leadership to say, hey, we have a new fund building effort, or build whatever that needs to be, people can right then be directed to support that financially right through the app. We make that very easy to do. In addition to helping people integrate your organization and your faith experience into their broader life, so there's not such a big separation between their secular life and their religious life or their spiritual life. We understand that, especially in the effort of finding new people, new residents, new people to the neighborhood, you're trying to have them come, visit you, get to know you. We found that it's very useful for you to, in your app, show other places of interest that are near you. Could be museums or parks or other notable landmarks. But again, this is an easy way for people to in the context of your conversation, understand other things that are useful or support your mission of getting to know them and having them get to know you better. We've integrated with all the major social media sites. We allow people to submit photos. Look, we've pretty much done all the things that if you were to sit down from a dead halt and say, you know what, I get this, I want to take advantage of this mobile shift, and I want my faith family to be in the conversation all the time of mobile. I want it to happen easily, and mobile is the best way to get there. The vast majority of things that you would put on the list that you would find practical and and wanting to do, especially the things that have been proven in the marketplace. We have them there already. But here's the most exciting thing about our approach. If you were to go out and price what it would cost to have an app built for your organization, the first thing you're going to realize, if you've never done that, is that there's no such thing as, well, there's no practical thing as an app, right? Because there are multiple platforms of mobile users. You have Android. The big ones are Android and iPhone. But you also have BlackBerry and Microsoft and many others, especially when you go global and internationally. So what you're going to quickly realize is you're going to have to build multiple apps. Well, the average going rate is a few $1,000s per platform, which for some people that's great. That's a great price considering the value of what you can now do. They probably spent a few $1,000s on upgrading their website. Well, here's the exciting thing with our approach. Because of the things I just walked you through in the beginning of this and how we pay things forward and pre-built the infrastructure and understand these unique things about your industry, and we can take advantage of those things even before we meet you, you can experience a tremendous price break, a tremendous discount. So for the one-time fee of $595 and an ongoing fee of $50 a month, the ongoing fee covers the hosting of your administrative access to your app, which means, we don't just hand you over an app and what you get is what you're stuck with. You can go in on as often as you want and make changes. In fact, it's designed for you to easily, with no technical capability, know-how, go in and add features, or cut features on and off, add content, make changes without calling a web designer, without calling us. It's very simple, but you have that 24/7 access as a part of that $50 hosting and admin fee, and that gets you in the game. The only other cost we have, there's a unique kind of path to get in approved in the Apple process. Apple kind of is its own world because of their brand dominance. There's an extra $10 on that monthly fee that goes towards Apple. And if you want your app optimized, this isn't a requirement, but some people want it. If you want it optimized for the iPad experience, there's a difference between iPad, obviously, and an iPhone. But if you want your app optimized for that experience, and this is really for people that are going to be very visual. They expect to have a lot of pictures, a lot of videos, a lot of those things, and they want to take advantage of that big retina display. Then there's an extra $100 fee on the setup for that. So again, you're looking at a few $100s, the cost of business cards for a couple of your leaders in your church, and that gets you in the game mobily. And there's no limits to how many people can download your app, whether that be 10, 500, 5,000, 50,000 or more people can download your app. We eliminate the borders. So now that you're trying to find a way to get your message to the world, there's no more excuses in how to do that. You can encourage your membership to be messengers themselves and to share different ideas and things and events that you guys are doing with their family and friends around the world, because now a mobile app is something that anybody can download from anywhere. It's a very, very powerful solution. So this is how we're doing it right now. Obviously, we're completely undercutting the market cost, and we're going to maintain these low prices for as long as possible. What we suggest you do is get back to the person that invited you to this broadcast. They can tell you what to do to get in the queue for getting your app set up. I would definitely not hesitate on that. I would take advantage of things as quickly as possible. One powerful thing about getting put on the TouchPro platform is the fact that it is a platform. So 6 months from now, almost guaranteed there are going to be dramatic changes in the capabilities, features, and functions out there in the mobile world. But you're not going to have to worry about that stuff because we're worrying about it on your behalf. And the things that make sense will be enabled to cut on in the platform or made available to you, the platform. So this one-time investment is, in fact, an investment. It prepares you not just for today or tomorrow or next month. It prepares you for the next 5 years of changes that will be coming in this area of mobile technology as we continue to grow and evolve the way we communicate. So thank you so much for taking the time. We're really, really excited about serving you and this organization, and hopefully this is in alignment with your strategy as an organization. If you have any questions, don't hesitate and be shy. The people that invited you to this broadcast can definitely get those questions answered for you by them or resources we've made available to them through the company. Thank you very much. I hope you're having and experiencing a great week. I hope you're ready for a fantastic summer. Make sure you stay hydrated wherever you are, and have a great day.